When it comes to affordable fragrances, Lattafa's making a campaign to become the undisputed king. But with so many fragrance options, how do you determine which one deserves a spot on the shelf? Today, I'm revealing 10 Lattafa fragrances everyone should own. From beast mode scents to compliment magnets, I'm revealing the fragrances that will have you smelling like royalty without breaking the bank. And trust me, this last one just might change your fragrance game forever. First up is Lattafa's Hayti. Hayti has this sweet, fruity opening that's mixed with apple and cinnamon. It's pretty interesting, but as expected, it has a familiar blend. As it dries down, you get this musk and vanilla base that's warm and inviting, and to me, this is one of these fragrances that's super versatile. Now, when I think of Hayti, I think of this mix between sweet and spicy, and because of that, it makes it a perfect fragrance for everyday wear. Like most Lattafa fragrances, it's not a showstopper when it comes to uniqueness. However, it does hit the mark when it comes to being easy to wear and approachable. Plus, it does have decent performance, making it a solid, reliable fragrance that just gets the job done. Velvet Oud is up next, and this one is just pure luxury in a bottle. It's a smooth mix of oud, saffron, and rose, and these notes just come together extremely well. Now, I wouldn't say that this one is particularly dark, however, it is rich, and it's about as sophisticated as they come. From the moment you put this on, you're gonna feel like you're wrapped up in this warm Tom Brown peacoat. This is a fragrance that people will remember as it leaves a lasting impression, and trust me, with this one, the compliments will roll in. The next fragrance is Al Fursan, and this one is this playful mix between fruit and woods. It features pineapple, amber, and leather, and to me, this one's like that wild card addition to your collection. Now, this does have a touch of leather and amber in the base, and the fragrance does come off as sweet. However, with those notes, I don't feel that this one comes off as cloying. In my opinion, it's a true head turner, and it has this unique, almost addictive quality. It's perfect for summer nights or whenever you want to channel that free-spirited vibe. And yes, it has pretty decent performance, and although it doesn't last forever, there's really no need to reapply. Now, Assad is a powerhouse. It's a deep, resinous blend of leather, amber, and spices, and when you spray this fragrance on, it just oozes masculinity. Assad comes in with this smoky, spicy cardamom note at the top, and then it blends into this creamy vanilla and woody undertone, and because of how powerful it is, it just has this lingering effect. To me, this one's for the man that's bold and not afraid to stand out. It has a commanding presence without being overbearing. So if you like fragrances that are rich, spicy, and full of character, then Assad could be for you. It's kind of got this boss energy, so it makes you feel like you're the man as soon as you put it on. If you thought we covered the best Lattafa has to offer, then think again, because these next fragrances are about to be bangers. Next up is Eternal Oud, and this is Lattafa's take on a timeless, elegant fragrance. It's an intricate mix of their take on oud, vanilla, and spices. And by design, it has this intoxicating aroma. It's rich, it's sweet, and it's smoky all at once. And in my opinion, this is a take on a masterpiece fragrance. Therefore, almost making this a masterpiece in itself. And the thing about masterpiece fragrances is it's almost like magic in a bottle, because when you spray it on, it's going to give you that instant wow factor, and with Eternal Oud, you're going to get just that. When it comes to Eternal Oud, it's both powerful and smooth. It's one of those fragrances that are going to turn heads and have people asking, what are you wearing? And that's in a good way. Now, if you're into rich, intense fragrances, you might want to stick around, because this next fragrance might just be your new favorite powerhouse scent. Amir Al Oud Intense is up next, and it hits you with this caramelized opening. And immediately after that, this fragrance is dominated by this smoky, woody blend, and I personally enjoy it. Now, as the name implies, this fragrance is intense. However, it has this subtle smoothness to it that allows the fragrance to be enjoyable and keeps it from becoming too harsh. Now, when I smell this fragrance, it has this dramatic effect to it, but it's dramatics, but in a good way. The smokiness of this fragrance is front and center. However, the way this fragrance is blended, that sweetness and that aroma just pops off of this one, really making it a go-to fragrance for nearly any occasion, specifically in the fall and winter. If you're a fan of dark, intense fragrances that command attention, then be sure to give this one a try. Vintage Radio is up next, and this one's like a hidden gem within the fragrance collection. It's fresh, aromatic, and nostalgic, giving it this old school vibe. However, it still has this modern approach. It's weird to explain, but it works. On first spray, I find Vintage Radio to immediately be refreshing. You get a woody, musky base in this fragrance that has, again, that classic vibe, but after that sweet, fresh opening, this fragrance does transition into a more woody and spicy base. However, this fragrance does have a vintage feel, but it doesn't feel outdated. Like most of the fragrances we've talked about so far, this is another one that's going to be perfect for daily wear. More specifically in that fall and winter, and sometimes in the spring you can get away with this one as well. And another thing I appreciate about Vintage Radio is that it's noticeable without being overpowering, and sometimes, just sometimes, that's exactly what you need. Alright, so this was nice, but if you need something more daring, then this next fragrance is bold, and it's one that's sure to get people talking. Vodka is up next, and this one's citrus, spice, and all things nice. With this one, you're gonna get your traditional men's fragrance stack. You're gonna start off with some citrus in the top, you're gonna get a little bit of florals in the mid, and then you'll transition into some woods in the base. In addition to that, the dry down here also features some musk and amber, really bringing some warmth to the overall composition. It's fruity, floral, and woody with a splash of freshness here, and because of that, it just screams sophistication and class. When it comes to reactions, this could quite possibly be one of their best compliment getters. Like many of the others, it has this airy, uplifting vibe that just makes you feel confident when you put it on. That said, it doesn't come off as too serious because that fruit and that flower really pull in this playfulness to the composition that I think many people will enjoy, especially for casual wear. And then there were two. Next up is Lattafa Fragrances. Hopefully I said that right. This one opens up with an indulgent blend of coffee, spices, and amber. As this one further develops, there's additional hints of vanilla, spice, and woods that just adds some more depth to the fragrance. It's warm, it's cozy, it's comforting, almost like a cup of spiced coffee on a cool evening. Without a doubt, you can just look at this fragrance and tell that Kawa is a fragrance that's going to be a go-to for that colder weather. It has this rich gourmand flair to it that when I spray it, it immediately makes me feel at ease. The coffee note is prominent, but it's not overpowering. There's also the amber here that meshes well into this fragrance, and those things combined, you get this gourmand powerhouse that it's not overly foodie. It's definitely one for the coffee lovers out there, and if you enjoy coffee, then give this one a try. It could be up your alley. Last but certainly not least, we have the fragrance that you might have been thinking was left off of this list, and I'm here to tell you it wasn't. The final fragrance on our list today is Lattafa's Camera, and it would be uncivilized to leave off what I consider to be the crown jewel of this Lattafa lineup. Now, Camera is often compared to one of my favorite fragrances on the market today, which is Kilian's Angel Share. I've gone through multiple bottles of that, and although there are some similarities, there's also a ton of differences there as well. I've even heard people hit me up and say, yo, B, this has nothing to do with Angel Share, but when I smell it, it seems like it has something to do with it. But you know, there's other fragrances out there with similar DNA, so maybe it leans more there, but Kilian's Angel Share is probably the more popular. Camera opens up with this sweet, spicy burst of cinnamon and vanilla in the top, and as this fragrance dries down, you get more of what I call something special. Yep, creamy, boozy undertones with a hint of that tonka bean, and this fragrance is amazing. Now, when it comes to Lattafa, Camera is one of those fragrances that everyone's going to be talking about, and when you reference the brand, it's likely the one people will know. It's rich, it's bold, it leaves a lasting impression, it's sweet, but it's not overly sweet, and it really just strikes a balance between luxurious and comforting. The longevity's there, plus the compliment factor is there, and when you're thinking about the Lattafa line, Camera is one of those fragrances that you have to seriously consider. So there you have it, 10 Lattafa fragrances everyone should own. Each of these fragrances brings something different to the table, whether you're looking for dark and mysterious or fresh and uplifting. Which one of these fragrances are you adding to your collection? If you enjoyed this video, then click here to see what happened when I put Lattafa fragrances from Amazon and TikTok in a head-to-head battle.